Director confirms Flash movie. Brand new trailers for Joker movie and Titans Season 2, and so much more news today on DC Movie News.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's DC Movie News.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's four greatest heroes.
Form of Robot Man.
Of the universe.
I was going for a little Doom Patrol thing there because you'll see we are the Doom Patrol. We decided we were a different name before this particular lineup, this particular crew of DC Movie News. We couldn't remember it between the three of us, so why not be the Doom Patrol? And I'm Robot Man. Because that's what I go.
I'll be Crazy Jane.
You Crazy Jane. There you go.
Why not?
Who do you got?
That's my roller derby name, actually, Plain Jane.
I actually wanted Crazy Jane because I don't want to be left to be Cyborg.
Who says you got to be Cyborg? You can be
or Negative Man.
Negative Man.
I don't want to be internally confused. Larry
What about
Trace.
the Chief though? Sexy ass Chief.
Yeah, they did.
Rita?
Rita got issues she got to deal with mentally too.
They all got issues.
You know, I got to meet her and work with her a little bit last week.
Oh,
that's right. We're teasing
fancy
you.
Beast.
Yeah, we're teasing you up top here. So we are the Doom Patrol. Joining me today on DC Movie News, you know him, you've seen him, you've heard his opinions, you've probably heard him chime in on things he's going to chime in today, and he might have different opinions. I don't know. Mr. Jay Washington is here.
I have all of the opinions on all of the things, especially with a lot of these subjects we're going to talk about. I am exhausted, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm pushing through for you all. I just recorded my hour special yesterday. Not to mention I got to leave.
Oh, comedy special.
Yes, yeah. I recorded my hour comedy special. Then on top of that, I'm going to the gym after this. Then I have to work as a security guard, as a bouncer in a nightclub tonight. But I'm going to give you all that I've got, ladies and gentlemen, and do this.
This is you're like living the movie Hustle and Flow.
Oh, man. You know it's hard out here for when you're trying to get the for the rent.
And don't be puzzled by her dress.
Look at you!
Trying to play in her punny sandbox. Alana Jordan is back with us on DC Movie News.
Everyone is welcome to my punny sandbox.
It's not usually a place I'm comfortable
horrible
playing in.
when you say that. It doesn't sound
horrible and very provocative at the same time.
What? Playing in your punny? In your punny sandbox?
That sounds real British freaky. Like, I'm getting that punny sandbox, girl.
All right, I immediately retract everything I've said up until this point. Let's talk about some stuff.
No, too late. Can't retract anything. It is for the record. But I think we're going to want to hear from you because, all right, guys, listen, Flash movie, I know, a lot of directors, not that many cast changed. Ezra's been with the project pretty much the whole time, but it seems that the long since rumors since, I guess, June or July, we started to hear about this. The very successful, these two little movies from Warner Brothers, It and It Chapter 2, seems like it's going to make a little bit of coin as well. You'd think Warner Brothers wants to keep this person at home, right? You want their next movie to be a Warner Brothers movie. Wow, we're trying to get this Flash movie off the ground. Is it really happening? Is Andy Muschietti going to be directing a Flash movie just because he says so, because other people have said so before?
I see, that's the thing. I believe Muschietti is the director set by Warner Brothers. However, this movie seems to be cursed. This is the fourth directorial choice. The fourth.
Yeah, they were. Well, yeah, because John Francis Daly and John
Goldstein
were like,
then Rick Fumiyama before that,
like,
then Seth Green-Smith before that.
Yeah.
So it's like this is the
But
fourth.
the other ones were kind of up in the air. It was only like the last.
Fumiyama was locked in. Seth
And they were
Green-Smith,
all public. That's the thing.
They were
like,
all public. These
Fumiyama
were all
put out like that tweet with the like, hey, I'm diving into the Flash world, and then
Seth Green-Smith did the same thing because he was the first director attached to it.
Right.
My biggest thing is this, and I said it yesterday on Movie Talk. When this movie goes into production and has an official release date and it's all systems go, then I'll believe it. Then I'll believe it with this because it's been too much.
Okay, but here's the thing. Is it not like this? We know Marvel greenlights their films in a different way. They set up the projects, then they build the projects. We've heard that Warner Brothers is doing it a little differently. They're putting a lot of projects in play, and then they greenlight them when they're ready to go.
But this is this isn't like the other ones. This is one of the ones they've been standing on for a very, very long time. This isn't like Batgirl. Well, remember, Batgirl was in development, then all of a sudden it fell off.
It's never not been out of development.
Right. But this one has always been, the Flash is happening. The Flash is happening. The Flash is happening.
It seems like it's one you have to do because the property's proved successful on TV. and you don't want to get it wrong. They got Green Lantern wrong. They are a little gun shy. They are always going to be a little gun shy when they put out one of their in tights classic heroes. What is your opinion on this? I know you've got a little insight. You spoke to the man.
Yeah, they I believe definitely are moving forward with this one because I think they're already doing a little bit of casting, maybe potentially for it.
You may have just heard something. What can you say?
Teach Grant is the actor who plays Henry Bowers, the kid that, little spoiler for It 1 if you don't want to know, at the end gets kicked into a well and presumed dead.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But clearly he is not because he's not dead because he's in the second one. So I was talking to him about it. He actually
could have been a flashback though.
Well, no, he's grown. He's an adult man now.
Okay.
So, but anyway, he was in the Flash TV show in 2017. He was a recurring character, and so I asked him point blank, "Hey, this news is broken. Andy Muschietti is going to be doing the Flash. When you heard this, did you talk to him at all? Were you like, hey man, I was on the Flash. Like, if you're casting, holler at me." And he was like, "I didn't call him. I texted him." He was like, and I congratulated him, everything, and then kind of hinted that maybe Andy was looking towards doing some casting already. So I think they are moving forward with it quickly.
Wow, that's exciting. There's a huge, when do you think a movie like this could happen? Because there is like a big gap between like a movie in Wonder Woman and the Batman. There's nothing in between.
This can't happen for at least another 2 to 3 years because Ezra still has Fantastic Beasts 3 to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you got
I'm thinking 23.
Yeah, 2023.
So would you compare this movie, or how would you compare it? Chat roll, very interested. You're of course, you could join us on the Popcorn Talk Network on YouTube every Friday around 1:15 is when we're going live with the show. There's always a show doing DC movie news. Sometimes it's Roxy Stryer, Mike Kalinowski, and myself, and sometimes we're lucky to have great guest stars like today. So I'm curious as to how would you compare it to the New Gods film, which seems also very in development, also with a very high-profile director, and also very publicly being developed.
Well, I think the difference with New Gods is this is happening.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to have Ava DuVernay attached to something that's not going to go.
And have her publicly say things constantly.
Yeah, with her.
Like,
and then to have Tom King help writing it.
Okay.
That's definitely happening.
I understand you from an opinion point of view.
No, I think that's more so fact when it comes to who we're talking about as a director.
Okay, but either of these films has been officially greenlit. I don't think it has.
No, New Gods definitely has been greenlit.
Yeah.
New Gods is definitely a go.
Because didn't she point blank say that?
Yeah, and Eva definitely said New Gods is official. That is definitely
because she was saying, I'm excited to dive into New Gods.
She's working on it, but I don't know that they've actually hit the green light on it. I know it's like all in production.
I feel like that's a definite.
I think the New Gods is the one that's for sure. Like again,
but it doesn't have a date and it doesn't have a production start date and it's not in pre-production.
Well, they're doing the script right now.
They're writing.
They're doing the script, but that movie is definitely happening.
But that's one too that the focus needs to be the script. So I think that's why it's a good thing.
And which has been a big issue with the Flash too, because you just with the last situation with John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein, you turned around had Ezra Miller and Grant Morrison trying to write a script because Ezra Miller wanted the Flash to be more dark and brooding, a la his character in Fantastic Beasts, and it's like, no, you've already played what the Flash is in a sense, a goofy type of kid, a goofy character in Justice League and Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. You've been this.
So there's a lot of conjecture about all this, how it stumbled through production.
Shout out to Twin Rivers in the chat. Thank you.
Oh, yeah?
Said that I'm dropping fire and...
Dropping
I don't
straight
know what
fire.
That means,
so Muschietti, if you're wondering what Jay's referring to, Muschietti basically said, well, it's not really going to have horror elements into it. I don't know. I'm sure there will be a maturity to the tone, a darkness to the tone. But let me ask you this now. We had also previously heard a Flashpoint as a possible story. Do you think that's out the window, or do you think that's where they're going to go?
I think that's out the window. Flashpoint was an escape from the DCEU. Flashpoint was that whole, if this doesn't go right, we can Flashpoint it. We can basically restart our universe over.
It was a reset button.
It was the reset button. So I think the Flashpoint element is completely done from this. Mm-hmm. I think we look and figure out where they're going forward. Now, we don't have this interconnectivity.
Unless they're going to use it to explain Batman, but...
Right.
I feel like it's unlikely. I mean,
Batman said in the 90s.
That would be so.
I think, the Batman's
it's going to be like separate. I feel like that would be also just super shoehorned in. Like, I don't think that they're going to
So yes, so I agree. I don't think they're going to go for that story at this point. I think Muschietti wants to tell his own story. I think again, you have a very high profile director coming off 2 big hits right now for the company.
He keeps talking about how he wants it to be like this human element, this really character driven thing, and how all of it is just.
Well, that's what he
like
does anyway. That's what Muschietti does in his films.
So it's like it seems like they're not going to do something that is. Flashpoint or something that's going to be more focused on the visual than the actual character development.
I hear you, and I do appreciate that. I think it's a little vague, right? I think his comments are very vague at this point, so I would suggest people don't get all up in arms like, oh, he's going to make it like super light and fun and goofy, or it's going to be this like. It's a process. He's saying like it's character first, which is what we want out of these films, right? Like we can't just compare effects all day long. It's not going to keep us interested. One more thing on the one more thing I wanted to ask you: what comes out first, New Gods or Flash? What do you think of that?
New Gods.
New Gods.
Well, everybody's saying New Gods. Chat room, what do you guys think?
New Gods.
Because you think further along in the process?
You can be further along, and also, again, Ezra Miller has Fantastic Beasts 3.
And also, they have Tom King writing the script with her. I feel like that story, or at least like the Mr. Miracle story, which I did just read recently. And
that's the purpose of it,
one of the only storylines I've actually followed in popular comics in the past couple of years, because it's so easy to read, it's super cinematic, it's really fun, it's a way in at all these godly characters. And so I think with her, I'm really excited for that film. I still don't know what the Flash movie looks like, but I'm excited. We should move on. We had a new Joker movie trailer this week. Wow. So we've been hearing the comparisons between the King of Comedy, the Scorsese film, and this, and here you actually got to see Robert De Niro in all his Rupert Pumpkin-esqueness. And then also kind of the plot of the film kind of laid out a little bit more clearly, maybe a little bit less artsy of a trailer than the first one, but how did it land with you guys?
I'm interested in it. I was surprised about the amount of comments and the backlash it received.
What kind of backlash? I'm not familiar.
Well, so a lot of people have just been talking about the trailer as basically using it to connect to today's society, and especially with the political landscape. Unfortunately, y'all, I know you're like, yo, do we have to connect to it? If you follow social media, that's what it's been. People talking about how this will be, because if people have been seeing this, there's a script that's going around.
Right.
Now, we don't know how old the script is. Supposedly it's 2 years, but that could be to save face.
I have heard this too, and I've avoided too many details about it because I want to be surprised.
That could be to save face. It could be like a recent revision before they actually did one on set. But because of what happens in this script and the way they say, oh, his reactions are because he's being turned down by women and things like that, people are applying it to that. Now, I personally, I want to see it, but at the same time, I don't want to see the Joker humanized.
You've said that since the beginning.
Yes, since the beginning. That's the one
I agree.
That's the one thing I am hating about this entire process with this film. I do not want, I'm not supposed to feel sympathy for the guy who becomes the clown prince of crime.
I don't understand why you isolate the Joker as the one character that you feel like having a background can detract from the character. Why could more of an understanding done well, like why can't it just add to the mythos?
I feel like because the whole point is that he is supposed to represent evil incarnate. He's supposed to represent everything that is intrinsically bad that Batman projects. We're seeing this character through the eyes of Batman, which is why we side with the hero in the story. And so by humanizing Joker, you then take away the element of having I need to fight against evil, and this is justice and not pure revenge. It detracts in some ways. And the fact that that Todd Phillips has been like, this is a movie that I wanted to make just about like a man going kind of nuts, like a man that would be like the Joker. And in the 70s, you could make this movie, but like now with the climate, you can't. But if you make it a Joker movie, you can. And I was like, this makes me very nervous about what you're doing.
And also to add on to what Elena said, it's you don't want to know anything about him. This dude is supposed to be just come in, be crazy. We never know why he turned crazy, how he turned crazy. Remember, in The Dark Knight, you want to know how I got these scars? We got 3 different stories.
Well, that was a great interpretation.
And I understand that's one of the things I have read on the script. The first page says this is is just in the character name. That's it, and it just uses a Thomas Wayne and a Bruce Wayne. This has nothing to do with anything else. I just don't think we need to see the origin. Look, I'm somebody who always identifies with the villains. Anybody knows I call myself the resident supervillain all the time on the Mad Titan podcast. But I found other villains I have a reason to relate to. The Joker is a villain I like because I don't know anything about him. His enigmatic status is what's the best thing about him.
Okay. So over-explaining. Well, listen, you're saying the same reason that I really usually hate prequels when they're not necessarily, if the prequel wasn't the thing that existed first, like filling up the air like the Star Wars prequels or something like that, I think is, not necessarily great.
Right.
I have a little bit of a different take. I think the Cesar Romero Joker is very different than the Heath Ledger, than the Jack Nicholson, who is a gangster.
Really? Cesar Romero, who refused to shave his mustache for the role, is different than Heath Ledger?
Yeah, so I feel like, we've seen so many different takes and Elseworlds, and this is really a big part of DC, and Superman Red Son and Batman and Gotham by Gaslight. To me, this could be just another great step in that lineage. And I think that just because the Joker is absolute evil, or where that evil comes from, doesn't mean that you don't also need to fight against it. And in point of fact, in the world, and maybe you want to hide from the world, but there is never absolute evil or absolute good. There are always two sides of a story. And so maybe some of the criticism that comic book movies get is that they oversimplify true good and true bad, and the fact that everything is a shade of gray.
That's what epics do. This is all, superheroes are based, the whole intrinsic system of superheroes is based off of the same principles as the Iliad, the Odyssey, these
absolute morality
grandiose tales of people with powers, the tales of the gods, of them having human-like experiences, but heightened to a degree that makes it relatable, but also far enough away that it doesn't feel too intrinsically connected.
And that's the thing, too. You just said it. There's some things that aren't absolute evil versus absolute good. The Joker has always been made to be absolute evil. There has never been a semblance of good in him.
I just feel like, why make a Joker-like movie?
His idea, his idea, in his mind, he's good. What he's doing has a positive spin on it, but to the world who sees it and knows it, it's not. And so it just goes into what she was about to say.
I understand. It's very interesting. Listen, I have a feeling this is a movie that's going to really divide people. I have a feeling, possibly, if I had to guess right now, I'd guess a lot of critics and fans of film might like it. Maybe a lot of comic book nerds might be pissed off about it. Do you think that's a fair take?
I mean, Todd Phillips flat out said it's going to be so different from the comics that people are going to be pissed off.
Yeah, he's already made it.
All right.
He let you know ahead of time, I know what I'm about to get.
He was already just.
But I think too, we'll find out what happens during Venice. Because it's about
once people actually start to see it. So
I also feel like because it's marketed that way, though, I think that this is smart, because it's the whole theory that I kind of relate back to of the Sprite theory of if that is your favorite drink in the whole world, but somebody hands you a cup of water and they tell you it's water and you drink it and it's Sprite, you're going to spit it out because it's not what you were told you were going to get. From the beginning, they said our downfall will be portraying this as a tried and true comic book movie when that's not what it's going to be. So the fact that it's queued up as something differently lets you know going in to adjust your expectations.
I didn't even care about the Killing Joke for the fact that I didn't want to know him being a comedian that goes crazy. I don't want to know.
Yeah, well, I mean, but it's a seminal story that is, depending on who you ask, added to the tapestry of comic book characters. The legacy of these characters do grow by new artists and authors adding to and layering, right? They do evolve, and we kind of take the stuff we like, and that kind of goes on. Alfred Pennyworth was not always a badass, James Bond kind. That kind of just started becoming part of his mythos.
Yeah.
And then, it just is, the stuff that people hold on to. Also about the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix looked crazy thin. Apparently he lost 52 pounds for the role. And here's a guy who can swing. He's looked downright beefy sometimes, and but he looks eerily skinny. You can't argue that. What do you think the performance is going to bring?
A tortured man who's rejected by everybody. He's going to try to have those emotional attachments, and people going to shut him down, and the only person that loves him is his mama.
I mean, I feel like he's really trying to pull for this Oscar just based on all of his interviews.
You think he's
he's like,
Oscar thirsty?
They've already said it though with these trailers. People are like this.
It's always a bad sign when they start talking awards like that before anybody's seen the movie.
Like, oh, okay.
Can we slow down?
Okay, well, what do you guys think of this?
Though? Really, our first big award.
Right.
Okay,
it's gonna be Joker because of what? Nah.
No,
but listen, it is getting these very prestigious film, film show, slots. So we'll see. What is Toronto the first one that happens?
No, Venice is going on right now. Venice is now.
So when is it going to actually be seen? When is that screening? That would be interesting to know.
I think it's a couple of days.
Ryan, if you could find that out in the booth, when?
It's very soon.
I know we got people from Popcorn Talk seeing it next week.
So that's what it is.
Wow.
Oh
if
my
it's in
God.
Venice,
Are we seeing it?
No.
Damn it! No, he just flat out said no. You heard how Ryan just said no to me.
I mean, he said hard too. No.
So sorry.
During the trial, during the trailer, we can see a movie theater that is playing Excalibur, which was what they used for the origin in Batman v Superman. Is that a clever, just coincidence, or do you think it's a way to kind of possibly fit it in the continuity?
They'll just be in the theater at one point, and they'll go again later.
But the time periods kind of match up, don't they?
They have it where it matches up, and they also have this whole thing where they're like, if you look really close in the window, you can see a man who looks like he could be Bruce's dad, with a little baby Bruce, and a woman who could be Martin. You never know. And it's like, okay, yeah, but this is a second. So also, maybe calm down and we'll see what happens.
Also,
there have been some people that I feel like with theories may have flat out spoiled the whole movie. So I'm like, I just don't.
Well, if they're theories.
They're theories, but it's also.
You talking about the one about him being related to the Waynes?
Yeah.
That's the one we've heard about.
And that's been coming out a lot, though.
But they've been saying, and that's the big twist. And I was like, why? Okay.
Yeah, because I think the changes is whether is it Thomas Wayne is his brother or his father. That's the one they're trying to figure out which one it is. But he's related to the Waynes in this movie.
Well, do you think? Let me ask you this: if it is around the same period, do you think this movie
somebody
could?
In the chat just said Venice screens it tomorrow.
Oh, great! Thank you very
even
much.
sooner
Thank
than
you
we thought.
guys. Okay, so
thank you, Julia.
Do you think this movie could end with a young Bruce Wayne getting shot? Will we see the pearls again, or maybe not see the pearls, but just a gunshot?
I want to see Bruce get shot. In this
wow, he's a dark mother.
No, because if you do, then
that will
you
be
get
the only thing that is clipped out of this show is just you going.
No,
I want to see Bruce get shot
because it'll turn that story of how Thomas Wayne can become Batman and how Martha eventually.
Oh, you want to see Bruce get shot?
That's what I said. That's why I said.
You want to see Bruce get shot?
Yeah, I want to see Bruce get shot for that one. You're damn right.
That would be.
He's like, shoot the child.
That would be very down the rabbit hole.
If you're gonna flip this movie on its head, if you're gonna flip this character and everything, if you're gonna
I have
somewhat that way, some of this
Flashpoint version where it's like, look, if we're not gonna have Flashpoint, at least we can have Flashpoint Thomas Wayne Batman.
T. Goslin in the chat room says that's 100% Bruce and his parents coming out of the door.
100%.
My little theory was that maybe he does get shot, but maybe it's not the Joker himself, because they really already did that in Tim Burton's movie, but maybe an acolyte of Joker, right? Like, he seems to be causing some chaos, right? And it seems from the trailer that he's getting people on his side. Like, it seems like early in the trailer he's being made fun of on De Niro's talk show, and then later he's going on as a comedian, and you see Mark Maron and De Niro there, and he's like, oh, can you introduce me as Joker? And I'm wondering, did they really bring him on, or are they putting him on under duress a la King of Comedy style?
No, I think they putting him on and he finna kill everybody on TV live.
Okay, so that's totally, this is
I think he's gonna kill everybody on TV live.
I gotta say, I'm really excited for this movie. I think it could easily be the best DC movie we've had since The Dark Knight.
Because it goes into the next story about it being the R rating, how when they said this is a hard
He worked
R.
on this for apparently a year to get DC because, and listen, they have a good point. They're like, we sell Joker pajamas in Target, right? Are we really gonna have this dark, crazy Travis Bickle take on the Joker?
That is actually one thing I do like, because I'm like, please stop glorifying the Joker, and please stop having shirts that are like, he's the Joker to my Harley, and I'm like, this is not a good thing. Like, guys, read the comics. This is horrific.
I was just talking about that on the recent episode of Mad Titan. I was like, I need people to sit there and really understand what the Joker and Harley Quinn's relationship is. It is not a good one. It is not healthy. It is abusive at best.
He is like basically just drugging and raping her like for
Non-stop. The
years
Joker is,
a time.
Again, I'm a guy that calls himself the resident supervillain. I
But you seem like
villains.
a pretty soft supervillain. If like once you cross into like straight evil, then you're like, no, that's not okay.
That's a whole different game. You know, but it's you look at the Joker, you're like, this dude, there's nothing. He killed Jason Todd laughing while he beat him to death with a crowbar.
It's insane to me. It's like people, like, I don't want to go like Marvel on DC because everyone gets so mad, but it would be like if somebody was like, he's the Kilgrave to my Jessica, and it's like, what? You don't want
yeah, no, that's a very good
the only way they would justify it, they'd be like, he's the David Tennant to my Kristen Ritter, because then they'd be like, it's David Tennant, he can do no wrong.
I mean, that is true. David Tennant can do no
tenets
wrong.
of David.
Okay, so moving on past Joker, this is really exciting. So screening tomorrow, we're gonna start to hear about this film. People are seeing this film already. People from Popcorn Talk Network, where you can find this show. Not the person who hosts the DC Movie News Show, but other people, then that person will be seeing it next week. So we'll have more news coming up in the future, I'm sure.
Yikes.
But now we know Birds of Prey is also...
Well, we don't know if the Joker's going to kill anyone in that scene, but we do know that shots were just fired in the studio.
Pop.
So, yes, Birds of Prey.
This just became tea.
We've discussed... We've discussed when we would possibly see a trailer. So apparently there is something that has been established before it shows in a theater where they have to like say like the time where they attach them to all the things. So we had said we thought maybe during It 2, which I think opens next weekend.
The 6th.
Next weekend. So
I
first,
think definitely.
That's when we're seeing it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
40-second teaser.
Quick teaser.
Especially with like the Muschietti like in the news right now with Flash DC.
I think it's gonna drop.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna drop attached to the movie. However, knowing the way everything works and how you want to build that buzz, because everyone is not going to see It Chapter 2. Right. They're gonna drop it online.
As well.
100%.
They're gonna drop it online first,
100%.
and then it's gonna be attached to
Well,
It
the
Chapter.
online marketing was such a big thing with Suicide Squad, and I feel like this one visually has such similarities with the marketing, with like the bright colors and the way just visually they're doing. I feel like that they're gonna have pretty much the same marketing.
Are we still
campaign.
gonna call the film Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn?
Yeah, the posters are already printed. That's
so they did keep
what's happening.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they kept
Okay.
it.
That's it. That's the official name.
Okay, because I was hearing rumors that they were gonna take out the end part
And
because
the
of like Marquise, but clearly they keep
Marquise will just say Birds of Prey.
Okay.
But
Okay.
the full movie is that.
So you know that this film is just underwent some research to reshoots to add some more action from one of the John Wick guys.
Yeah.
So knowing that, and knowing what you know, and knowing that, okay, the film opens in February, we're probably getting a 40-second teaser, which isn't a ton, but it's still a little bit out. What do you think?
I wouldn't even say 40. I would say we might get a minute. Nowadays, teasers have been a minute
Well,
and a
I
half.
heard
They said
40
it's
seconds.
40
That's
seconds.
what we
They said
have.
40?
That's the information we
Yeah.
have. on
Okay.
this.
Sorry
The
about that.
leaked info is that it will only be 40
so,
seconds.
what is your anticipation level? What do you expect? Are you concerned that they would go back to add
Anticipation
more
for the emancipation?
For the emancipation? Yeah. Where is your concern for the anticipation for the emancipation of one Harley Quinn? Knowing what you know, Christina Hodson's script, the person that wrote Bumblebee, and they are looking at to write what? Flash. Flash.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's gonna write Flash.
Yes.
Well, she's writing Batgirl.
Yes,
Yeah.
rumors for
She's
Batgirl
writing
too.
Batgirl as
Although
well.
it would sound like Flash is getting a little
Flash.
bit more
That'd
fast
be
track.
yeah.
But
Flash is definitely confirmed.
regardless, what do you guys think? We haven't seen anything. I don't know what to think about this movie. I was super excited, and now I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, I'm still excited. These are some of my all-time favorite characters, and I'm super stoked. And
Is it a Schrodinger's cat box sort of situation for you right now?
What do you mean? Like,
I
do you
mean, like right now, the trailer, everything is inside the box. It's both alive and dead. Until you open it and know that it's dead or alive, it can be both. Even the dead cat in the box could be.
Yeah, but
What's in the
Schrodinger
box?
also killed a bunch of cats. I'm not into this. See, I'm more of like a Pavlonian situation right now. I'm a dog person, not a cat person.
So when you
in this
hear Harley,
scenario.
you salivate.
Yes, I just hear Harley Quinn and I go, gimme, 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 I want. So to me, it doesn't even matter. Like at this point, even if other people are not going to like this, I feel like just based off the visuals, I will probably. I like Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Everybody crapped all over it, and I'm like, okay, yes, it looked like a movie that was edited by a trailer house because it was a movie that was edited by a trailer house. But the actual visuals visuals, the shots, the cinematography wasn't bad.
No. Yeah.
I got an idea what we're getting in this trailer. We're gonna get all the main characters because you have to focus on them. Mm-hmm. Of course, you have to get all the main characters. You got to get a lot of Harley Quinn in it, but it's going at the end. You're gonna get a good shot of Ewan McGregor's black mask.
Right.
We did get those photos today, y'all.
Oh yeah, so we have
got
some
our
new photos.
pictures.
Let's take a look at. These are also leaked photos.
Harley's outfits are dope always, except for she does look like she's wearing Taylor Swift's jacket from the VMAs in one of these, and that was kind of weird to me. Flip through. Do we have that one? She straight up is wearing like Swiftie jacket.
Yeah. I know the one you're talking about. I saw it. Is it this one?
Yes. Like, I was like, okay, she's eating a donut and she just stole Taylor Swift's jacket from the VMAs. Like, I can already tell.
Okay, so the director I was referring to is Chad Stahelski, and he was the John Wick director.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the action in the John Wick movies is the reason to see the John Wick
Did
movies.
he
It's
do Atomic
great.
Blonde? Was that the same?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Okay, so now if you had
even more
told me that
excited.
he was involved in the second unit of this film from the get-go, I think I'm nothing but excited. But the idea that like, we need better, bigger action, I don't know. It just makes me feel like there's a lack. Like to do that afterward, it does give me pause. I hope it's seamless, and I think it's brilliant.
I think it's great. They shot the best scenes of Jaws in a bathtub, or not in a bathtub, in a friggin' pool in the back of an editor's house. So
That is 1979, ma'am.
I don't care, man.
74.
Like, if you can go back, I mean, like, there's so many countless examples of like reshoots that have had awesome scenes, and I feel like adding reshoots and then saying we want the best for our reshoots isn't a bad thing.
And yeah, reshoots are nothing new. We all know this. We know reshoots happen
in a
on
bathtub, Jesus.
That was like really
No, listen, I'm.
That's
No one's
really-
letting that go. I was like, you guys are far too kind.
All right, I think the chat roll is pretty much on board with Birds of Prey at this point.
Yeah,
I'm not,
it's
and
gonna
I'm
be
not,
good.
listen, I'm not on board, guys. Okay, I want this movie to own. I'm only telling you what my gut is telling me right now. I don't know. Right now, I haven't seen anything, and you just kind of. You wonder the way that news comes out, pictures comes out, things create a vibe. Like Joker movie has one kind of vibe right now. Birds of Prey has another movie, but maybe after Joker it does its thing, it's going to be all Birds of Prey all the time.
I
But
love
that's up
Margot
until-
Robbie, and someone was like, hey, you know what? You love Ramona Flowers? Guess what? She's Huntress. I'm on board. I'm like,
You told me, huh? What'd you say, Ryan?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. What did you guys think of this first look at Ewan McGregor, though?
It's so dark.
it's like Game of Thrones cinematography. It's hard for me to tell.
Oh wait, but he just looks like Ewan McGregor. There's no mask on him.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, he's not Black Mask at that point.
And that's what the teaser has to show you that or something.
Well, see, but I think I heard something that he was
That
not
was a
going
big
to
thing, that
have the
people were
traditional mask, or
worried
at
that
least
he wasn't going to have his face at all shown. And it's like, of course he's showing his face. He's Ewan McGregor.
he's probably just going to put on a little bit of like a face aperture at some point.
Yeah, I want to see
Yeah.
what Journey Smollett Bell's going to look like. His Black Canary.
Oh, what do you think, Ryan? Did you think it was going to be more like he was just going to be in a black red skull? Like
I'm a
black...
little surprised how he looks right now. I mean, he looks a little bit menacing, even the still we got right here. These look like screenshots from whatever teaser we're going to be getting.
I think
And-
it is. I mean, they're leaked pictures, so what else could they
Right.
be from?
Exactly.
And these
So
are clear pictures. Like, this is from yeah.
it might be a unique take. Maybe he'll have an outfit later
To
in the
be
film.
honest, the costumes, the Huntress costumes, all the superhero costumes look very toned down in this take. It doesn't look like they're going really over the top with like
Well, if this is
the
them just meeting up,
superhero-y-
it's like unlikely that they're like, oh, what up? I got my bitches here that already had
Well-
their full-fledged costumes.
Well, no, most
like,
of them were already. I think the Huntress and Black Canary were already doing their things.
Yeah.
Were they in this
I
one?
believe-
thought
Seems
that
like
were
they are.
doing where they had like.
And then they'll come together. Like, it's been happening in Gotham, and then they'll come together.
Oh,
So,
we'll see.
we'll see.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I remember from seeing like even the Black Canary and the Huntress, like it's a little bit more of a toned down look. It's not like I don't know, super tightsy or even like less so than like BVS, I would say. So I really have no idea what to expect out of that world. It's going to be interesting, and that's also R-rated, right?
Yes.
Right, we've confirmed. So we have 2 R-rated
Yeah.
DC
I didn't know
movies
they
coming
did
out in a row.
confirm
Yes,
that
they
was
did. They
definitely
confirmed
R.
it.
I think we did confirm
I mean,
it because
I
I got a
thought it
lot of
was
crap
always
on this show
assumed.
because I denied everyone and they showed me
Yeah, they
confirmation.
confirmed it. Birds of Prey is R-rated as well.
So that is so bizarre.
Well, no, I
love
know
it.
what it
The
is.
2 in a row R-rated?
Because you know what the next one behind it is? Wonder Woman 84.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So
That's
like,
right.
we can flip this all on its head real quick with no problem.
Yeah.
Right, these next 2 feel strangely like more indie films. Even Birds of Prey does not feel super.
Well, it's because the budget isn't as.
Because they
Yeah.
don't want to give it up because it's like it's unproven.
Yeah.
Now, if Birds of Prey is successful, then look for the sequel to have this
Sirens.
dumb.
Gotham City
Sirens
Sirens will
will
be
have-
off the friggin' charts.
Yes, it will. It'll be off the meter.
But I mean, I feel like it might be a good thing that they're bringing in the big guns to come and do action scenes that they may not have budgeted for originally. And then they watch it and they're like, oh, actually, this does have the potential to be good.
Let's spend some more.
We just need to put some good action scenes in here.
And that is the silver lining we're going to leave that with. What do you think about the Suicide Squad movie? Okay, this is one I'm super excited for.
I'm into it now.
We're hearing words, talk about crossovers, that Taika Waititi might be cast in this film.
First of all, can we give James Gunn every franchise, period? Because
everybody is like, James Gunn's, oh, I want in.
You saw what he did with Guardians and Guardians 2. He gets everybody, no matter how you feel about the films. You hear he's got the Suicide Squad, and you're like, oh, he's getting some of the originals. Then you're like, oh, no, he's got Idris Elba. You're like, wait, what? He's getting Taika Waititi, and he just added Nathan Fillion. You're like,
yeah.
Well, he's got John Cena. He's got Damien Dashmallah. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, Damien Dastmalchian from the Ant-Man movies. Nathan Fillion. We got Steve Agee, the comedian.
Nathan Fillion is when I just freaking lost it.
Yeah, I mean, the most fanboyish casting.
We don't even know who he's going to be, but I'm like, he's Captain Hammer. That's all I need to know. Like, he's already my favorite hero. Captain Hammer will save us.
So that's huge. Steve Agee voicing King Shark.
Who is a great voice actor.
He's so good.
Man.
I'm really excited. I think that's going to be, I mean, that was not what I was expecting for casting at all.
Well, Archie says he doesn't want Ragnarok humor in Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad is supposed to be, but...
It's supposed to be light and funny to some degree.
I think it's going to be dark and funny. But I think it will be funny, but I think it's going to be twisted and funny.
Look at what he did with Guardians and Guardians 2. We're talking... See, people think Ragnarok when you hear Waititi. Waititi's going to be a cast member. He's going in as an actor.
Yeah.
He's not going in as a director, producer, or anything. He's going in as an actor, and we don't even know how big or small his role will be. So I
think it's going to be small because he's so damn busy. Like, he doesn't have time. Like, he's got Thor to deal with.
Cullen Prime from the chat roll thinks Fillion on probably as Polka Dot Man, who we have heard is in the film.
And they sure haven't said who was
Damien,
casted. No, Damien Dastmalchian.
No, I thought Damien...
No, he's Polka Dot Man because it takes everything in my being to not say Dalmatian when I say his last name because he's Polka Dot Man.
Yeah, he's Polka Dot Man.
Because he's Damien, because he's got...
What if, ladies and gentlemen...
It's so hard to say Dalmatian when you're like, Dalmatian, Polka Dot Man, Dalmatian. Oh,
what if Nathan Fillion,
although it should also be...
It's Condiment King.
That could be very much be the case.
I go this way?
Get out.
Some people say Xeno Hour, Nathan Fillion as the antagonist. Also, none of this has been officially announced yet either, guys. Know that every rumor, nothing has officially come from Warner Brothers on the cast of Suicide Squad. James Gunn pointed that out on Twitter as he was warning people that although all these people will be in the Suicide Squad, you will not be. There was a fake casting notice that went out there, and he said everything about this is wrong. You would never see the stars listed in the thing, and he said the title of our movie is not Suicide Squad 2. Avoid this hoax.
I will say, though, props to him for addressing it instead of letting whatever... I don't know what somebody would get from this hoax.
You know why? Because you have people who submit to it and guarantee it's a pay to submit
information.
thing.
Yeah, it was pay to submit. You pay to be in it. Yeah. That was the thing. It was a scam. And you know what? James Gunn has always been the most... available out there guy through the whole thing and back. And it's great to see him... reclaim his voice now that he staved all this thing. Now we're coming into the world where James Gunn owns the universe.
I want to say this as an actor, a working actor. I want to know who was dumb enough to sit, because you have to be, if you're an actor, and there's no such thing as being that desperate that you was like, yo, I can apply right now to be $150 a day in the Suicide Squad, which anything is just a background extra.
But that's what people probably thought they were doing.
You got some people who see this and be like, yo, I'm going to be in this movie.
Jay, are you saying that you think most of the wannabe actors that flood this town every day are all like Mensa level intellects?
Let me go sip this tea real quick.
Okay, so so also going on about Suicide Squad, people were talking to James Gunn about music, and is he gonna, does he have any soundtracks? Any idea?
I love that tweet when he said
maybe a couple, and then it's okay. So we have a quote right here: "Music is an incredibly important part of all my films, both soundtrack and score." So but it will be a lot different than Guardians musically, and in so many other ways, y'all.
So it's not gonna be like the way it's just gonna play like a regular soundtrack.
Well, also in that he's also referring to the tone of the
The
film.
tone is going to be
musically
very
and
much,
in so many other ways.
it's not going to be like, this is not going to be Guardians. This isn't like, it's a team up, but it's a very different team up.
If people think that that's what it's going to be, if Taika Waititi is only as good as Ragnarok humor, if James Gunn is only Galaxy here, then yeah, they're kind of one-trick ponies. So this is really a big test to see, can you do something different, but that is also funny in a different kind of way.
Please check out Super.
Yes.
Also check out another movie he co-produced
with Nathan Fillion also.
Well, the Sliver was the one that he directed,
Sliver
right?
he directed.
Sliver.
He also co-produced the Belko Experiment. So like he produced the Belko Experiment. So
Right.
James Gunn has a litany of different type of styles he can do under his belt.
And also the new movie, right? The dark Superman-y movie.
Brightburn.
Brightburn. Did you guys see that?
I did not get a chance to see it.
I can't
did.
wait to watch it at home. I've always kind of felt that about that film. I feel
I
like
was really excited about it. I was kind of surprised that it was so under the radar. I mean, it was really like
Because it was
very unique take.
You know why? Because it's another superhero film that's not under the big two.
I thought it would have sneakily
True.
made a bunch more money than
Especially
it did.
just
Like,
because I feel like anytime they're like, and Elizabeth Banks, everyone's like, whoa, let's go.
She was Rita
Just
Repulsa,
me.
and I still didn't get past that.
yeah.
Oh,
I still won't
loved
get.
her as Rita Repulsa.
I still
Do
won't get
not-
past as her. As
So-
You
Rita.
will not wear a Power Ranger shirt sitting next to me.
There was no
rap
Rita on this
talking.
shirt. There was
Yeah,
no Rita on
the
this
other
shirt.
quote that you were talking about was when James Gunn was like, "Oh, if you don't put this song in it, you'll totally kill me." And he was basically like, "If I put every song that everybody tells me I have to put in my soundtrack,
It'd be
It's a 9-hour.
30,000
Yeah.
yeah."
30,000 songs.
Trust the man, and listen. He doesn't have to be as outgoing and back and forth with fans as he is, and he does such a great part. And that's one of the reasons why people are fans of him and are going to support him for this next thing. So. A little bit onto the distant future of DC movie news future. Another film that has probably been in production longer or as long as Flash is Black Adam.
Yeah.
Which is now happening quickly thanks to the success of Shazam.
Yep.
Yes. So Black Adam looks like it's going to happen. We're hearing that this might feature Hawkman. What do you think about Thanagarians featuring into this film?
It works only in one way. This is set in the past in ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
That's the only way this works. Because the Thanagarians can be the stuff of legend of lore, especially when it comes to Egyptian mythology.
So
That's
you want
actually
like
a
a
good
Scorpion King, almost The Rock going
It has
back to his Scorpion King
That would be
roots?
the only way this works going forward, where he eventually has to fight
Yes,
Shazam.
don't. It
I'm
makes sense.
It makes
super
sense.
into it. I mean, yeah.
Because like he's from the Middle East,
He's
right?
from the
Like
Middle East, and
Qatar, right?
He's from the Middle East, so you have
I
that.
didn't even think about that, but that actually that would be a really good setup to then when they have the third.
The meetup with the two.
But the
Yeah,
Thanagarians
then-
are coming from another planet, but still,
Right,
It's
but it
an
would
ex-
make sense why there wouldn't be, the two protagonists.
you got me excited about something that I didn't really consider. I don't know if I thought that this movie was definitely going to be like a Sandals like period piece, and now it's like that's all I can think about.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out the Mad Titan podcast. I
And
do
then you
all
bring
this
him in with
weekly.
Zachary Levi in like a third movie
Because
kind of
now,
situation.
because with him being
Stop
in,
it!
at the
Make
Rocket
it present day, that would
when he
then
being in the
make
Rocket
sense.
Attorney now, he's learning more stuff that he did not know, and he's
Yeah.
learned about the world. Remember, he heard about a champion before, which was referenced in the first Shazam.
Yes, of course. No, of course they refer to Black Adam in the film. What do you guys think? Are we going to get this? This is another one. I'm like, man, if they had
That'd be dope.
the fortitude to do a full on period piece and but go way back there, I think it would be so awesome.
Wonder Woman was a period piece,
It was.
and Wonder Woman 84 is a
Yeah.
period piece.
It was. But you're talking about going back like
Different.
thousands
But I'm
of
just
years.
but I'm just saying, like, why not? We're
different
doing
period.
We're doing New Gods.
I agree.
We're doing
True.
New
Yes.
Gods.
Listen, Jay, I want it. I want it. I'm not even going to say I don't think it'll happen. I'm going to say I think it will happen because I want to be part of the positive energy that makes it happen.
Yes.
I like that.
What do you guys think? Is Black Adam going to be a period piece? Hawkman seems to make sense. Also, it's a way of getting a hero that people know that has never gotten a big screen treatment
Right.
before. And as much as I love that they try to do it on CW, you can't really do that effect. These could be dramatic. I mean, think about the feathers and the flying and the warring and the.
I will say though, they did do a good job with Hawkman and of just the actual visuals so far. But it's like if this is
What do
something
you mean on the CW?
Also
Yeah.
on Legends when they
Yes,
did
but
it.
they can't really move and behave in the way that you
That
want
they
them,
could
like
with
a
a budget
planet
like
of
this
warring
to
winged
actually-
people.
yeah.
It always kind of looked like they were on like
But
a
I'm just
string.
saying, I didn't want it to seem like it was like we were crapping on the CW because that was actually kind of the better.
There are
costuming, I think, of
things that
some
can
of
only
them.
be so convincing on a television budget. I think you know,
Yeah.
and we'll talk about some more of those kinds of things in TV
And-
time because that's
Because
relevant.
Hawkman
Yeah.
is in one of his lores, he is Egyptian. He's reincarnated Egyptian.
Dr. Pecker says Wonder Woman is a hot piece, period. Hey now.
Whoa.
Spicy in the chat. And somebody else, Archie says, I loved Smallville Hawkman. I don't remember that one that much. I know that did happen.
I don't either.
Yeah, but that didn't look good. Come on.
I need to remember that. That bums me out. There were so many episodes of Smallville.
David F. Sandberg, the director of Shazam, while we're in the Shazam-y world, he just kind of clarified what a lot of us probably suspected about the Superman cameo, that there was some lines for Kal-El in that cameo, and it didn't quite happen the way it was supposed to because of scheduling. I think he kept it with scheduling. I think
that was a very smart move that he said that it was scheduling and that it wasn't contractual things, because we all know 100% that the reason that Henry Cavill didn't appear is because contractually he was obligated for X number of movies. That would have counted as one of them.
And also, he wanted them to back him, and Danny Garcia was like, y'all need to go ahead and back this truck up because we need some more money, because now we need more money and I need controlling interest.
When your
Superman.
manager is a producer on the movie, they're not.
Is that Danny Garcia? Is that okay? Okay.
Who is also The Rock's manager and The Rock's ex-wife.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
She's crushing it.
She is killing.
So she's a producer on the Superman films and Cavill's manager.
Yes, and on Shazam. She was a producer on Shazam. So that's what I was saying before, that I didn't think he was going to appear in this one, because I was like, if she's a producer, she's going to ask for a ton of money, and she's also going to ask that to be his last appearance on his initial contract, so that way when they renegotiate,
but it also,
they can ask for more money.
But that also,
and so I was like, they're not going to show his face. There's no way in hell. And I was right. Go back to this show 2 years ago.
It also makes sense why they're not in the Cavill business anymore, because they don't want to deal with her demands. Perhaps.
Well, but the demand they had was good, because they wanted control of Superman, because they wanted the character to go a complete. They didn't want him to go the
If they use him again, she has to be a producer, much like Zack Snyder, and so to go a different route, they get away with that.
When you get a chance,
they're cutting all those people out.
If anybody doesn't know, get a chance. Google $7 Productions. Anything you see with $7 Productions, that is Danny Garcia and Dwayne Johnson. And they are involved in a lot. They are involved in a lot.
So I think that's interesting. We'll see if they continue to be in the Superman business in the future.
They will be.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Well, why would you say that?
You want him back more than you... Look.
Cavill?
Cavill, yes.
Yes.
Well, I think Cavill's done. I don't think you're seeing Cavill as Superman again. I think it's because of what you're talking about.
If Warner Brothers backs
because
that
they don't
truck,
want to deal with her as a
if
producer.
Warner Brothers backs that truck up, which they were willing to do to get that Man of Steel 2,
they don't dislike her.
To get that's just a strong business woman.
All right, I see it a different way. You're absolutely entitled, but I think
it's a debate.
Much like
I got it from very good inside information that they are definitely not in the Cavill business anymore. And that I mean, of course, all things could change, but the reason I heard it was because if they produce movies with him, they would have to be producing with other people that are attached to that version of Superman. I always assumed that they were talking about Snyder and his camp.
They like Danny. She did a great job with Shazam.
So maybe it is Snyder. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see more Cavill. But it doesn't sound like, with all the movies we're talking about on this show, I haven't heard the word Superman mentioned once, and we're already 3-4 years down the way.
You're burying that down right now to kill the talk. So if it comes back up, it's a big surprise.
So you think they're going to stick with Cavill and bring him back, even if they don't make a Superman movie for 4 or 5 years?
I mean, if you can go ahead and bring back the man that everybody wants to see get his Man of Steel 2, because you don't want to do Man of Steel 2 with anybody else.
When you say everybody,
I have to be honest, I have to leave pretty soon.
Okay. So let's move
sorry,
on.
Guys.
Well, listen, if you need to jet, absolutely, anytime we can finish it up. I did want to mention the Justice League cinematographer was mentioning that he didn't really see the theatrical cut of the film because he was crying his eyes out. Just another person to kind of just reinforce what we knew, that film was very different. All right, so we're going to talk about some TV time stuff. Alana, where can people find you? Oh, wait. Right now. Over it. Lower it down. Put it in the mix.
Psych out. It's time for my plug, y'all. Listen, you can find me on Twitter at Alana Jordan and on Instagram at Alana J. Jordan.
Excellent. All right, so we'll go into TV time. Stick around.
And talk about Preacher on Sundays,
as long as you can. Oh, we'll talk about Preacher in a second, as soon as we get over the wall into TV time.
Okay, well, then I'll wait and then I'll bounce.
Even though she's not here today, you can find her at Roxy Stryer.
She's in New York.
Oh, Schmoedown stuff? Or
Yep,
whatever they
we're
do?
Schmoedown.
And you're not there for that.
No, I'm not. Jay didn't want to go.
We are honoring Roxy Stryer on this side of TV Time. I do want to mention Preacher because it's a show that I love very much. And I got to say, as a huge fan of the show, I wasn't aware that the new season was on until 3 episods had gone by. What, did they not advertise it?
They really did not advertise a lot, which is insane. This is the last season ever. Ooh. The first... the premiere was 2 episodes, and nobody knew that either.
So weird.
It was just like, surprise, I hope you allocated 2 hours to watch this. I did the after show, and I was like, oh, I did not, but cool.
Nice.
Luckily, I have the AMC premiere thing, so you can see everything 48 hours beforehand. So it's like, yeah, it's
Great.
a cool thing that they do. It's for $5.
Nice.
I definitely recommend it. You can watch
I've seen them advertising it. Okay.
Yeah, it's actually worth it, so I do recommend it.
So I could watch the new episode if I get that right now.
Yes, you can watch it right now. You can watch all of it.
Episode 6.
Yeah, episode 6. But this season, I think, is really, really good. They've drifted a lot from the comics. They have
so far.
Yeah, but they've kind of retconned some things in the comics that made me hate certain characters that I love. So I kind of like the show version a little bit better. Even though it is weird that I'm like, Hitler's still in it. It's weird.
It's weird. I guess the thing, I really do like the show overall too, and I'm okay with both existing, and I'm glad it's not just a slavish reproduction of the comic, which I read like 80 issues of, however many were there.
77 issues.
Yeah, I read every single one, and I love it. I love that these are different. I will say, I felt like every season, because of their budget, they seem to use the same sets, or like there's only a couple of scenes that they do so much.
Yeah.
And so much of the comic felt like this moving road trip.
Right, well, because there was the whole thing on the road trip and they just didn't have the budget for it. I think initially, if the first season had taken off like Walking Dead, like they had thought that it would have, I think that they would have done the road stuff, because the New Orleans season seemed like it was heading that way. But with what they have budget-wise, I think they've done a phenomenal job, and this season is really, really good.
And then, do you know how many more episodes we have?
I believe there's only 5 left. I might be wrong. I think this is a 10-episode season.
Okay, so check out Preacher. Moving on, so one of my favorite shows we'd like to talk about is Swamp Thing. There was some really cool Floronic Man concept art that came out, and if you saw the season, you might have gotten to see a little example of this. Jay, why are you sighing?
Because I just hate that this is coming out now that it's done.
It looks so good,
I know,
right?
like, why being like, look how good it would have been if we had given it to you, and it's like, cool, we wanted it.
Well, a lot of these artists, work so hard on this stuff.
No, I get it.
Thanks, Louisiana tax laws.
No, that was North Carolina.
Been debunked.
North Carolina,
that was North Carolina.
And even a lot of those stories have since been sort of debunked.
Kind of debunked
yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah. If you look into it, it still seems like it was a creative thing on the part of Warner Brothers.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I really think that the HBO Max stuff has more to do with this than we think, because if you look forward,
it makes sense.
Doom Patrol is season 2 is happening as a co-production with HBO Max.
Yeah.
And we don't have any other.
Doom Patrol is the best show out right now.
Thank you. I wish people understand it.
Yeah,
and not just because we're calling ourselves that. Genuinely,
yes, we
think
Doom
that
Patrol.
it is the best show out right now.
Speaking
it's what
of
Umbrella Academy wanted to be.
DC Universe, we do want to mention there is a great new Titans season 2. It looks like Titans season 4 by the trailer. Like, they're really upping the level of the amount of heroes.
They got more budget. I think they was like, listen, we want to put more money behind this. We want more people. This is your flagship show.
Yes.
This is the show you built everything around.
We really do have to wrap up. There's one more thing I have to mention really fast. So Titans season 2 looks amazing. We're hearing a lot of Green Lantern TV show rumors. Some that were CW, some were that HBO Max. The latest that we're hearing is Berlanti and possibly HBO Max, which makes sense budgetarily, but it doesn't bode well for DC Universe, right?
That's what I was wondering. I was confused about that one, because for a while it seemed like both properties were moving forward, and it's like, you're not going to have 2 Green Lanterns.
They want to put Berlanti properties on everything.
Yeah, I think I do agree that a Green Lantern show on CW sounds like hell to me. That is not anything I want to show up for. HBO Max seems like it could be doable, but it still feels like it would just have to be so big for it to be done well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting, though. It is really interesting to see how DC Universe continues to develop in lieu of these DC properties showing up on other platforms. That being said, Titans looks amazing. And also, it looks like Watchmen is going to be premiering on October 20th. I heard some reviews. There's some early reviews of people who've seen the first episode. It does take place in an alternate 2019 where a lot of the events of the Watchmen movie book happened. Robert Redford has been president since 2019, and there was this weird thing where these like sort of like Rorschach people, I think, are kind of like white supremacists, and they're like out to kill police, and that's why the police cover their faces up. That's all I've heard. Interesting stuff. That's all we got. Let's get out of here. Jay Washington, where can people find you?
Twitter,
please?
Instagram, Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. Check out the Mad Titan podcast everywhere you get your podcast listen on, and my YouTube channel, youtube.com/JAY Washington 80.
Alana Jordan, one more time.
I already did mine, but I'm Alana Jordan. You can find me on Twitter at Alana Jordan and on Instagram at Alana J. Jordan.
I'm Adam Gertler. You can find me late at night trying to sell you pressure cookers and indoor grills and things like that. Mike Kalinowski will be here soon. I think he's going to be gone. He will make a triumphant return sometime in autumn, I promise. Roxy Stryer will be back here next week. We'll see you next time on DC Movie News.
Hey.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.